Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Reshma Tiwari bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. G20 Empower Group meet in Agra focuses on the paradigm shift from women-centric to women-led developments. India's President Draupadi Murmu attends the valedictory session of UP Global Investor Summit in Lucknow on Sunday. Death toll in Turkey, Syria touches 30,000, rescuers active on war footing after more survivors coming out. 7th Operation Dost flight reaches Syria with over 23 tons of relief material. Foreign Secretary's visit to Nepal provides momentum to India's neighbourhood first policy. New Zealand on high alert for tropical storm after torrential downpour, and in cricket, India beat Pakistan by 7 wickets in Women's T20 World Cup in Cape Town, South Africa. The death toll across Turkey and Syria following the past week's earthquake has crossed 30,000. Turkey's death toll climbed to 24,617, Turkish Vice President Fuat Oktay stated to the local media. On the other hand, in Syria, the confirmed deaths reached to 3,575, including 2,167 in rebel-held areas in the northwest, according to the White Helmets Civil Defense Group. According to Syrian state media, citing Health Ministry's data, an additional 1,408 deaths have been recorded in government-controlled territories. The Turkish government has added that nearly 6,000 buildings, including public hospitals, collapsed in 7 cities. An Indian national missing since the earthquake in Turkey was found dead under the debris of a hotel in Malatya, informed the Indian embassy in Turkey. United Nations expects the figures to touch 50,000. Rescue efforts have been upended as the World Health Organization chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warned that time is running out for the injured and those still trapped. Rescue teams have been deployed sniffer dogs to detect signs of human life under rubble in Gaziantep of Turkey as well. A father and daughter, a toddler and a 10-year-old girl are among the recent survivors pulled out from the ruins of collapsed buildings in the southern Turkish province of Hatay on Sunday afternoon. A team of 9 to 6 Indian Army personnel has been stationed at the 60 Para Field Hospital in Hatay's Iskenderun to provide medical assistance. Nearly 800 people have been treated so far and 10 major surgeries have already been performed at the hospital. People have lauded the efforts of the Indian Army. One patient who was treated at the hospital said, "Thank you, Hindustan. We appreciate that they are with us. We are happy they are here." The 7th Operation Dost flight sent by India reached Syria on Sunday with over 23 tons of relief material. The External Affairs Ministry said the relief material includes gensets, solar lamps, emergency and critical care medicines, and disaster relief consumables. It was received at Damascus Airport by Deputy Minister of Local Administration and Environment, Mutaz Douaji. Meanwhile, unrest in southern Turkey has disrupted rescue efforts. Following Monday's deadly earthquake, the combined death toll in Turkey and Syria has surpassed 28,000, and hope of finding many more survivors is fading despite some miraculous rescues. German rescuers and the Austrian army paused search operations on Saturday, citing clashes between unnamed armed groups. Local media reported that nearly 50 people have been arrested for looting, with several guns seized. In Northland, a subtropical region on New Zealand's North Island, a state of emergency has been declared on Sunday for an initial period of 7 days as part of the regional response to Gabrielle, a tropical storm, according to a notice from local authorities. In a press conference on Sunday, New Zealand's Prime Minister Chris Hipkins called on residents across Auckland to minimise non-essential travel, urging those who could work from home to do so. Air New Zealand, the national carrier, has cancelled several domestic flights ahead of the storm's arrival. New Zealand's Met Service had issued a series of red weather warnings early on Sunday for intense rain and gale force winds, including for Auckland, which suffered record rains only 2 weeks ago. The Coromandel Peninsula and the Tairaweti Gisborne region were affected badly by the recent torrential rain, and have been placed under the most serious weather alert. It said the city could see up to 200 millimeters of rain on Monday, with the Coromandel area to the east in line for 400 millimeters. The Met Service also warned winds could still be strong enough to damage trees and power lines, and that enough rain could fall to cause further flooding and landslides in the coming days. Thousands of people in New Zealand have been left without power as parts of the country endure the start of Gabrielle, which buffeted Australia's Norfolk Island overnight and has begun to lash the northernmost region of New Zealand. Evacuation centres have been set up and residents have been preparing. Residents have been told to ensure they have enough supplies to last 3 days in case they are trapped at home. Tens of thousands of sandbags have been distributed there due to concerns the sodden ground and weakened infrastructure have made homes more vulnerable to flooding. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India's SSLV development.
The successful accomplishment of India's second developmental flight of Small Satellite Launch Vehicle SSLV heralded a new beginning in the launching of small satellites. The rocket soared into the skies from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota early morning on Friday. It put 3 satellites into a 450-kilometer circular orbit during its 15-minute flight. The rocket SSLV-D2 placed the primary payload Earth Observation Satellite EOS-07 and Janus-1 and Azadi-Sat-2 into their intended orbits. The highlight was the Azadi-Sat-2 with 75 payloads, a combined effort of 750 girl students from across India. The CubeSat is the first of its kind space mission with an all-women concept and weighing about 8.2 kilograms. It aims to demonstrate amateur radio communication capabilities, measure radiation, among others. The satellite Azadi-Sat-2 was developed and built by Chennai-based space startup Space Kids. It was the result of ISRO pushing for girls to take up science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM. Azadi-Sat has 75 femto-experiment selfie cameras to click pictures of its own solar panels and long-range communication transponders. According to ISRO, girl students from rural regions were provided guidance to build these payloads, which were then integrated by the student team of Space Kids India. The payloads include not just a UHF-VHF transponder working in ham radio frequency to enable voice and data transmission for amateur radio operators, but also a selfie camera. The project is part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations to mark India's historic 75th anniversary of independence. The SSLV has been introduced to cater to the small satellite launch market. It has been developed with the sole purpose of launching small satellites, as the name suggests, and freeing up the massively used Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV for bigger missions to space. The SSLV has been designed to carry objects ranging from 10 kilograms to 500 kilograms to a 500-kilometer planar orbit. The new launch vehicle can be prepared and shifted to the launch pad in just over 72 hours, as against the 2 months required to prep the PSLV. The development of SSLV has been primarily envisaged to realize a cost-effective launch vehicle with high launch frequency and quick turnaround capability in order to cater to the growing opportunity in the global launch services market for small satellites. SSLV is a 3-stage vehicle with all-solid propulsion that inserted the satellites into designated orbits using a liquid propulsion-based velocity trimming module. It is 34 meters tall and 2 meters in diameter with a lift-off mass of 120 tons. The features that make SSLV attractive to customers are low cost, faster turnaround time, flexibility in accommodating multiple satellites, launch on-demand feasibility, and minimal launch infrastructure required. ISRO aims to design and develop payload instruments compatible with microsatellite buses and new technologies that are required for future operational satellites. SSLV caters to the launch of up to 500-gram satellites to low Earth orbits on a launch-on-demand basis. It provides low-cost access to space, offers low turnaround time and flexibility in accommodating multiple satellites, and demands minimal launch infrastructure. The SSLV-D2 mission comes following the failed launch of the maiden demonstration mission of the SSLV. The launch vehicle placed the satellites in a 356km by 76km elliptical orbit instead of a 356km circular orbit, making the satellites useless. In its investigation, ISRO had revealed that the mission failed after the upper stage of the SSLV launch vehicle injected the satellite into a highly elliptical, unstable orbit due to a shortfall in velocity. Meanwhile, ISRO is gearing up to launch the Chandrayaan-3 mission to the moon. The world is awaiting the discoveries that it will unravel on the lunar surface. The mission is expected to be launched later this year. The mission will be launched aboard India's most powerful rocket, the LVM-3, from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. Chandrayaan-3 is a follow-up to the Chandrayaan-2 mission that will demonstrate end-to-end capability in safe landing and roving on the lunar surface and consists of a lander-rover configuration.
President Draupadi Murmu attended the valedictory session of UP Global Investors Summit 2023 in Lucknow on Sunday. She will later attend a civic reception being hosted in her honor by the government of Uttar Pradesh at Lok Bhavan in Lucknow. On Monday, the president will grace the 10th convocation of Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University. She'll also visit the Kashi Vishwanath Temple and attend the Ganga Aarti at Varanasi before returning to Delhi. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Saturday that an unidentified object was shot down by a U.S. fighter jet over Canadian airspace on his orders. In a tweet, Trudeau said that he ordered the takedown of an unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace. At NORAD Command shot down the object over the Yukon, he added, Canadian and U.S. aircraft were scrambled and a U.S. F-22 successfully fired at the object, informed Trudeau. Later on Saturday, the White House also confirmed that Trudeau and U.S. President Joe Biden authorized the shoot-down, and the Pentagon said the object was first spotted over Alaska on Friday evening. Trudeau said that he spoke with Biden on Saturday and that Canadian forces would lead the object recovery operation. The object shot down on Saturday marks the third time in a week that U.S. aircraft have shot down objects in North American airspace. Saturday's incident followed the downing of another unidentified object on Friday over Alaska and the shoot-down of a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon on the 4th of February by a U.S. F-22 fighter jet. On the other hand, the United States has blacklisted 6 Chinese entities it said were linked to Beijing's aerospace programs as part of its retaliation over an alleged Chinese spy balloon that entered U.S. airspace. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Foreign Secretary Shri Vinay Quatra will be on an official 2-day visit to Nepal beginning on Monday at the invitation of the Foreign Secretary of Nepal, Mr. Bharat Raj Paudyal. This will be the first standalone visit of the Foreign Secretary to Nepal since he assumed the charge. The visit is in keeping with the tradition of regular high-level exchanges between the two countries and the priority India attaches to its relations with Nepal under its Neighbourhood First policy. During the visit, the two foreign secretaries will hold discussions on the entire range of multifaceted cooperation between India and Nepal. India has historical and civilizational linkages with Nepal, and bilateral cooperation between the two countries has strengthened in recent years with several major infrastructure and cross-border connectivity projects completed with India's assistance. The visit will be an opportunity to further advance bilateral ties between the two countries. The first meeting of the G20 Agriculture Working Group in the Sherpa track is scheduled at Indore, Madhya Pradesh from 13th to 15th February 2023. Around 100 delegates from G20 member countries, guest countries and international organizations are expected to participate in the meeting. Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, will inaugurate the exhibition focusing on millets on the first day of the event. Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia will attend the event on the second day. Day 3 will focus on deliberations on the key deliverables of the Agriculture Working Group. Major brainstorming sessions on various themes including food security and nutrition, climate-based approaches for sustainable agriculture, value chains and food systems for inclusive agriculture, digitization for agricultural transformation, etc. are planned. The delegates will be given a tour of the Rajwada Palace and historical Mandu Fort. A seminar on digital inclusion and excursion as a side event is planned in Lucknow on the 13th of February. Now let's have a look at G20 events roundup.
G20 India 2023. One Earth, one family, one future.
The first meeting of the G20 Agriculture Working Group in the Sherpa track is scheduled at Indore, Madhya Pradesh from 13th to 15th February 2023. Around 100 delegates from G20 member countries, guest countries and international organizations are expected to participate in the meeting. Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, will inaugurate the exhibition focusing on millets on the first day of the event. Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia will attend the event on the second day. Day 3 will focus on deliberations on the key deliverables of the Agriculture Working Group. Major brainstorming sessions on various themes including food security and nutrition, climate-based approaches for sustainable agriculture, value chains and food systems for inclusive agriculture, digitization for agricultural transformation, etc. are planned. The delegates will be given a tour of the Rajwada Palace and historical Mandu Fort. A seminar on digital inclusion and excursion as a side event is planned in Lucknow on 13th February. On the other hand, the past week saw a build-up of events and deliberations in the run-up to G20 summit under India's presidency on September 9 and 10 this year.
The G20 Energy Transitions Working Group deliberations came to a close in Bengaluru on the 7th of Feb with shared views and consensus on priority areas. The focus at the deliberations was on the energy efficiency of industries and reduction in carbon footprints. On the sidelines, India signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle Joint Business Council. The next Energy Transition Working Group meeting is scheduled in the first week of April in Gandhinagar. Another major outcome was that Brazil, India and the United States as leading biofuel producers and consumers agreed to work together for development of a global biofuels alliance along with other interested countries. This alliance will be aimed at facilitating cooperation and intensifying the use of sustainable biofuels, including in the transportation sector. It will place emphasis on strengthening markets, facilitating global biofuels trade, development of concrete policy lesson sharing, and provision of technical support for national biofuels programs worldwide. The Youth 20 Inception meeting this week was another attraction. It was held at the Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati from the 7th to the 8th of February with over 150 youth delegates from G20 countries. The Youth 20 meeting focused on the themes of peace building and reconciliation, future of work industry, climate change and disaster risk reduction, youth and democracy and governance, health, well-being and sports. The event provided a platform to connect with the youth and consult their ideas for a sustainable and progressive future. The first Tourism Working Group meeting held at the Run of Kutch, Gujarat from the 7th to the 9th of February concluded on Friday. The meeting included 2 side events, an inaugural session, 2 days of working group meetings on the 5 identified priorities, a series of bilateral meetings and excursion visits. The working group meeting was preceded by a side event on the evening of the 7th of February on the theme Rural Tourism for Community Empowerment and Poverty Alleviation. Second side event was organized on the theme Promotion of Archaeological Tourism, Discovering Shared Cultural Heritage. As the chair city for the 6th U20 cycle, Ahmedabad called on cities to work together in a spirit of solidarity and with the objective of deepening their collaboration and to collectively find solutions that are in sync with the overall objectives of the G20. The U20 Mayors Summit, set to take place in July 2023, will allow U20 cities to present their joint recommendations to the Government of India as President of the upcoming 18th G20 Heads of State and Government Summit, set to take place on the 9th and 10th of September 2023 in New Delhi.
The first meeting of G20 Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group was held in Bengaluru from 9th to 11th Feb. It focused on degraded land, promote blue economy along with coastal sustainability, enhance biodiversity, prevent forest fire and marine littering, and strengthen circular economy. A discussion was also held on the roadmap to tap natural resources without harming the environment to protect flora and fauna and biodiversity of our planet. Secretary Leena Nandan informed that on the 21st of May, G20 delegates will participate in the Sea Beach Cleaning Drive at 13 locations in India. This is an effort to create awareness on the menace of marine littering. The G20 Empower meeting held in Agra, Uttar Pradesh from 11th to 12th February welcomed women leaders from G20 nations, guest countries, international organizations and the private sector. The theme of the meeting was empowering women to lead across sectors, role of digital skilling and future skills. The G20 Empower 2023 focused the shift from women's development to women-led development. Union Minister for Women and Child Welfare, Ms. Smriti Zubin Irani, mentioned the government stand on STEM, that is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, and efforts made for women empowerment at the grassroots level. Shri Indavar Pandey, Secretary Ministry of Women and Child Development, in his welcome address stated that in the 21st century global growth will come from the countries of the South, with India having the potential to demonstrate the leadership of the global South by showcasing women's leadership and innovation. A light and sound show was organized for the delegates and guests. An exhibition was held alongside the event to showcase the work of women-led micro-enterprises, women artisans and craftspersons from various Indian states.
G20 India 2023. One Earth, one family, one future.
You're listening to World News. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the 14th edition of Aero India show, set to begin in Bengaluru on Monday, will be grand and magnificent with the largest participation of countries, defence ministers, CEOs and exhibitors. The 5-day Aero India show, with the theme of Runway to a Billion Opportunities, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 13th of this month. Addressing the Aero India Curtain Raiser event in Bengaluru on Sunday, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that Aero India will showcase India's growing presence in defence production, self-reliance, R&D and innovation. He said that the India Pavilion, with the theme of Wings of the Future, will exhibit indigenous defence equipment and fighter aircrafts. The Defence Ministers' Conclave will discuss the possibilities of joint development and export possibilities. The CEOs' Roundtable meet. Bandhan and Manthan will discuss possibilities of defence production sector growth in the country. The Defence Minister added that the youth will also benefit from this mega show, as a number of MOUs will be signed and investment proposals will be received during the show, and this will generate employment. The Defence Minister said that India has set a target to achieve defence export of 25,000 crore rupees by next year, which he emphasized is quite possible. In Ladakh, with the announcement of the online application process for Hajj 2023, the Hajj Committee Ladakh started its process for the first time. Chairman Hajj Committee Ladakh Muhammad Ali Majaz, while talking to media, said that the committee has started its process with opening of 2 Hajj cells, one each at DC Kargil and DC Leh. Majaz said that there will be special consideration for the Hajis of Ladakh and special benefits and facilities will be there. For any query, people can contact Hajj cells at both the DC offices of Kargil and Leh. Hajj Committee members, Councillor LAHDC Leh Chushot Constituency Mirza Hussain, Councillor LAHDC Kargil Shargol Constituency Ali Chandan, Ward Member Municipal Committee Kargil Zahir Hussain Babar and Member Nazir Ahmed. Tens of thousands of teachers have taken to streets on Saturday in the Portuguese capital Lisbon as the government faces a wave of discontent over the cost of living crisis. The demonstration has been described as one of the biggest protests in Portugal in recent years. The employee union claimed that more than 1 lakh people take part in the protest. According to media reports, it is the third time in less than a month that teachers and school workers have held mass demonstrations in the country. Portugal is one of Western Europe's poorest countries, with government data showing more than 50% of workers earned less than 1,000 euros per month last year. The minimum wage is 760 euros per month. On Thursday, country's biggest umbrella union, the CGTP, held several protests and strikes across the country against rising prices, urging the government to increase workers' pay. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissed the deputy commander of the National Guard of Ukraine, Ruslan Dzyuba, on Saturday. A decree was published on the president's website without any further details. Mr. Dzyuba was responsible for logistics in the National Guard. The move is the latest leadership shake-up in Zelensky's government. President's Deputy Chief of Staff, Kyrylo Tymoshenko, announced his resignation late last month. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Deputy Prosecutor General, Deputy Ministers of Regional Development and Deputy Minister of Social Policy have all been asked to resign or have quit in recent weeks. Local media reports that Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov is also facing rumors that he could be replaced, though the country's parliamentary leader has said that he would not be replaced this week. In Women's Cricket T20 World Cup, India have defeated Pakistan by 7 wickets at Newlands, Cape Town, South Africa. Chasing the target of 150 runs, India made 151 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in 19 overs. Jemima Rodriguez top scored with unbeaten 53 runs for the winners. Shefali Verma with 33 runs and Richa Ghosh with unbeaten 31 were the other scorers. For Pakistan, Nashra Sandhu picked up 2 wickets while Sadia Iqbal took 1 wicket. Earlier, Pakistan won the toss, decided to bat and scored 149 for 4 in stipulated 20 overs. Captain Bisma Maroof hit 68 runs not out, while Aisha Naseem scored 43 runs. From Indian side, Radha Yadav took 2 wickets, Deepti Sharma and Pooja Vastrakar took 1 wicket each. In another fixture on Sunday, Bangladesh will take on Sri Lanka at the same venue at 10:30 p.m. IST. Now let's take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Guardian writes, New Zealand North Island braces for potentially devastating weather as Cyclone Gabrielle barrels towards region. The Globe and Mail reports, Canadian team working to retrieve and analyze object shot down over Yukon, Trudeau says. The Financial Times reports, investors bet rates stay high for longer as Fed inflation message sinks in. The Washington Post says, famous South African rapper aka shot dead outside restaurant in Durban. Le Monde reports, Mali, Chile faces largest wildfires since 2017. The Japan Times writes, Japan's ruling party vows to promote debate on bill for LGBTQ community. The Straits Times writes, Malaysia's Sin Industries plan for rising Islamic conservatism ahead of state polls. Now a quick look at the headlines once again. G20 Empower Group meet in Agra focuses on the paradigm shift from women-centric to women-led developments. India's President Draupadi Murmu attends the valedictory session of UP Global Investors Summit in Lucknow on Sunday. Death toll in Turkey, Syria touches 30,000, rescuers active on war footing after more survivors coming out. 7th Operation Dost flight reaches Syria with over 23 tons of relief material. Foreign Secretary's visit to Nepal provides momentum to India's neighborhood first policy. New Zealand on high alert for tropical storm after torrential downpour. And in cricket, India beat Pakistan by 7 wickets in Women's T20 World Cup in Cape Town, South Africa. And now before we end, let's listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan by Artiste from Ghana.
Kari
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.